Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into our Zoom room. Hope you all are having a really good day. What's up? What's up? We got a bunch of people jumping in. Awesome. We are live as well in our Facebook group. Appreciate you guys jumping in here today, and actually appreciate all the ladies, mostly ladies, jumping in here today. We should have a very good training. We've got people jumping in and out of the Zoom room, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of dive in as people are filling in. What's up, everybody? Grant Weiss here. Hope you are having just a really, really good day. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some mass texting techniques that we are using to have an enormous amount of success when it comes to generating both buyer and seller appointments for your business. And this training isn't meant to be super long. Just wanted to come in here in a kind of Whitley Wednesday fashion and add as much value as I could, specific to helping you guys get appointments in your business this week. So if you're in this group, you've been following us for a long time, been implementing what we've been teaching for a long time, you may be in a place where you're generating leads, you're doing the remarketing, you are following up even, and maybe still yet there seems to be something missing. Maybe you aren't getting as many appointments as you would like to be getting, and you are open to trying some things that could impact your appointment rates. So just to give you a little perspective, what we're seeing very, very consistently is if you generate 100 leads from Facebook, here's kind of the breakdown. We're seeing between a 24 and 46, I think, % response rate on leads. That means we get 100 leads, we get 24 to 48 people actually talking to us. We're seeing an 8 to 13% average qualification rate, meaning people are qualified buyers, qualified sellers. They're interested in being set up on a home search. Maybe they're interested in getting a CMA. And then we're seeing an average 3 to 5% appointment rate, meaning we're actually able to book appointments with 3 to 5 people who have an interest in buying or selling a property. And then we're seeing an average 1 to 3% conversion rate. So if you are generating 100 leads, you should be able to close at least 1, 2, 3 deals based on your follow-up, based on your marketing, based on all of those things that you're doing. But for the last, I want to say 6-9 months, I've been toying around with a strategy that we've been testing, and we've been doing this in a number of different businesses. And I'm excited to share with you all today. So we got a bunch of people in the Zoom room. We're live on Facebook. So thanks to everybody that is both in the Zoom room. It's good to see you all. Hit me up in the comment section. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. And what's up to everybody that's watching us live in our Facebook community as well. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. 6 to 9 months, I started playing around with a strategy where we would send out some mass text. And it was almost something that was like stumbled upon by accident, because I was thinking strategically, like, we have a couple clients, maybe their appointment rate's really not as high as it could be. What do we do? What can we do to push people over the edge to meet and interact with people? And we had a client, I think it was specifically, this wasn't the first, but this is the first story that sticks out to me, of a client in New Jersey. And the client in New Jersey was having some struggles. We were not getting as many appointments as we wanted to get. I think we're 6-7 months into the relationship. I'm like, man, something's got to give. And I said, let's send out a mass text. So we sent out a mass text. The response was overwhelming. I'm talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of responses. And somebody, and I'm going to show you the text in a minute, responded and said 1.5 million. And it'll make sense when I show you the text messages. Well, they didn't respond. I was like, wait a second, what do you mean you didn't respond? Go talk to that person. So they ended up interacting with them. Turns out it was a listing. It was a legitimate listing that could sell for, I think they were comping like 1.4, 1.5 at the time. They go on the appointments, they actually get the listing, and then they sell it in 45 days for $1.5 million. This is literally, I don't know, what's the math on that? $45,000 text message or whatever. And so very impactful strategy. So we did it again the second month. We added value to the database. We kept putting out content. We kept following up, kept doing everything that we needed to do. But then 4 to 5 weeks later, we sent out another mass text. Here's what happened. I think it was like a $400,000 or $500,000 listing came from it. And that person needed to go buy a property as well. It was like another $800,000 or $900,000 worth of closings from the second mass text that was sent out. So I got really curious. I'm like, okay, how can we see if this is going to be effective in another account? So we tested another account, and then we went to a third account, and we went to a fourth account, and we went to a fifth account, and every single account besides one, and I'll explain the one, every single account besides one started generating appointments very consistently. So we would send out a text message, dozens of responses, depending upon how many texts we would send out. And then the dozens of responses would dwindle down to the few people that were serious, which would dwindle down to the few people that would actually want to book an appointment, which would dwindle down to the people that actually move forward and got a listing. Josue Soto, he's somebody that we talk about often. 3 deals last month in the last 30 days alone from this exact strategy. We do this every 4 to 5 weeks in Josue's business, and he gets appointments consistently from it. And so I wanted to jump in here because we've had a 93.3% success rate using this strategy in combination with a couple of other really good marketing strategies to generate consistent appointments in people's businesses. Now, 93.3 is not perfection, right? So there were 13 different real estate companies over the course of the last 2 years that we've been actively doing this in. 13, there were 12 of 13 have had success until yesterday. And that client that we weren't able to get the appointments for finally got an appointment from our communication, which was amazing. What was happening is we had another client in New Jersey, different market, that was really close to New York. So with Facebook ads, right, there's a limitation on the mileage radius limitation. So if you run an ad, there's a 15-mile radius. So what was happening is, I believe it's Hackensack. I don't think that's the exact town, but we were in a place that was just across the river. We were generating appointments, so we thought, in the Jersey market, and we were following up. We were getting appointments. We'll come to find out a lot of the appointments were from Manhattan. People that weren't necessarily in Jersey, but had real estate needs. And I think it was business they could refer. We didn't count it because it wasn't appointments in the market that the client was actually wanting to work. So 12 to 13 different real estate companies across Florida to California having success with this strategy. And when we were going through doing it, our focus was listings. It wasn't just buyers. Like, because of the state of the market over the last 2 years, up until a couple months ago, if you didn't have listings, you didn't have business, or you had to like work 10x harder than you've ever had to work to get buyers in a position to be able to purchase a home. So today I wanted to sit down with you guys. I wanted to show you what we're doing actively and give you some pointers. I want you all to go send this text and report back. I want to know exactly what types of results you're able to generate from this. But I want to show you exactly what we did in order to generate the results. And I want to go over a few things as well. Again, not a super long training, just want to kind of dive in and show you what the messages look like. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I think everybody could probably see my screen. If I had to guess, I would love if somebody would comment in the chat on Zoom. Can you see my screen? I just want to confirm before I move forward, because I'm not really paying attention to any of the other things. Brian from AdSmiths, my man, it's good to see you. Thank you. Thanks, Jacob Stark. Appreciate you, Deanna. Thank you all so much for engaging with me for a second. Okay, so today, again, 5 texts that you should send right now to get buyers and sellers in your CRM requesting to meet with you this week. And I'm going to go through the presentation at the end. If you have questions, I'm going to jump in, spend some time in Q&A. So the 3 things that I'm going to cover in a really brief training today is the 5 texts that you can send. Again, the mass messaging strategy that we're having a 94% success rate when we do this in combination with a few other really important marketing activities. Who you can send these texts to. So I'm going to talk a little bit about who you should send the text to, who you shouldn't, and then I'm going to talk about how you can send the message. So we'll talk about different ways that you can get this message out to people. So the first thing are the texts. So I'm going to dive right into these 5 texts. I'm going to show you my favorite. I'm going to show you, it could be text 3, 2, 4, 5, like I don't know. I'm going to tell you my favorite. I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to give you a little context to each text, and then we can go on to the next part. So text number 1. Hey, Are you still looking to buy or sell a home? Now, this is born off the back. This is like my OG text. I've sent this text for like 3 years. When we were having a really difficult time, maybe getting leads to engage with us or interact with us in email or text or calls, we would send this mass text just to what I call like engage the database. We just want to see, are the people in our database actually even interested in buying or selling property right now? How interactive are these people? So this is my favorite old text, and it's always worked. And it's a great way to test your database. Hey, are you still looking to buy or sell a home? It's a very basic question. This is also a really good email. So you could type in the subject, hey, quick question, email, are you still looking to buy a home? This is a really good, who was I think Dean Jackson called it the 9-word email. I don't know if this is exactly what he used to send, but this is just a very effective strategy of getting people to respond back. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Already bought, used another agent. I'd love you to list my home, whatever the situation might be. So this is a great old text that you could send. Text number 1, hey, are you still looking to buy or sell a home? Text number 2, hey, first name, I think I found a deal for you in the blank price range. You have a few minutes for a quick chat. Now, this text was extremely effective during the COVID period when inventory constraints were at an all-time high. Trying to find a deal was next to impossible. This mass text worked flawlessly because everybody was looking for deals. If you had inventory, which is why we did a lot of lift to exist stuff, still do. If you had inventory, you had business, you had opportunities. And so if you sent this text, because I think that they did some stats and the buyer demand, it was like a 6-to-1 ratio. There were 6 buyers to 1 seller in the market. So if we sent this text out, we had an enormous amount of response. And it still works today, because at the end of the day, if somebody's looking to buy a home, the deal will always be the attractant. This is why Zillow is so effective. And this is why a lot of the lead generation strategies that we teach you all about, homes list, social listing type advertisements where you market the individual listing, so they're so effective, because the number one thing that we want to know, whether we were going to buy a home or we're going to sell a home, is what's available on the market, because you got to go where you're going to go next. Even if I go get my home value, knowing what's available once I sell my property is the most important thing. That's why home searches are so prominent everywhere that you go. People want to know what's available. So this text works so effectively, especially if you find that your business is somewhat buyer centric. Now, 52% of buyer leads generated also have a property to sell. So I think you'd be shocked how many potential sellers you have sitting in your database right now. But this text, so effective if you have people that maybe are trying to find a deal and have not had a ton of luck. Text number 3, hey, first name, I've got somebody looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. And again, these metrics, you just insert whatever you actually have in the blank price range in the blank area. Would you be interested in selling your property? Now, this is the old FSBO script, right? Every FSBO trainer in the world, call FSBOs, talk about buyers that you've got, right? This is really no different. It's just in the format of a text message. So, hey, so-and-so, I've got somebody looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in the blank price range, blank area. Would you be interested in selling your home right now? Simple question. This text is very effective. It's also very self-explanatory. You're just using buyers as bait to potential sellers and letting that provoke a conversation. This isn't necessarily probably my highest performing text that I've seen, but it is one that is effective because it, again, is a common thing that has been used for a long period of time, primarily in the calling. This is also a very great advertisement if you're trying to generate seller leads. We used to have a strategy we called our fish in a barrel campaign, where we would get a buyer to tell their story. We would run the video as that video as an advertisement and get people to request CMAs, assuming that we had a buyer that wanted to buy their property. So it was a very effective ad as well. Text number 4. Would you sell your home right now if I could find you a new home to purchase? This was also a very effective text message, especially during COVID, because everybody was worried about what? Inventory. And so when we were able to, when marketing is messaging, right? So when you were able to put the right message in front of the right person at the right time, you get an overabundance of response to whatever it is that you may be promoting. And so With this campaign specifically, we used it like crazy over the last year because it was so effective, because everybody was looking for property and they didn't have one, right? And so the main concern with selling their home was they were not going to be able to go find one. So that's really where this text message was born. Would you sell your home right now if I could find you a new home to purchase? This was a very effective text. And then this one is actually another kind of like social OG text. For a long time, I would see people put posts like this out on Facebook. This is actually a great post to put on a Facebook or in a Facebook group as well. Fill in the blank. If you could get blank for your home right now, how much would you sell it for today? You put this post out on social, people are going to interact with you. You send this as a mass text, you're going to get a flurry of responses. Put this in a social group, put it in an Instagram story, wherever you can put this question, place it there, because you're going to get people to interact with you. And it just starts a conversation, which is really all these texts are designed to do. Now, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say that text number 5 right now is one of my favorites because it's generating the most conversations. And we know if we have, if we can get as many at bats as possible, like the more people that we're going to have to talk to, the higher probability that we're going to have to set an appointment. So I like things they're going to start the most amount of conversations. So text number 5 is definitely one of my favorites right now. It is very effective. We use it very often. Now, what I also do is we mix messages. I told you guys, we try to send out a mass text every 4 to 5 weeks, especially for the clients where we're managing a lot of their marketing. And this, what we'll do is we'll, who are you looking for, buyer, seller, and then we'll make sure that the text is relevant to the market. But what we'll do is we'll mix the messages. So we won't send the same text every single month because that would look a little weird. What we will do is we pick the favorite text that we know is going to perform the best to send out month 1. Then we pick the second favorite month 2, then the third favorite month 3. And it gives us, at least it gives us 3, 4, 5 months of text that we know that we can send that are likely going to provoke people to have conversations with us, which ultimately lead to appointments. If you send one of these 5 texts right now, you're going to have conversations. Now, there are some do's and don'ts. Who do you send the text to and who do you not? Okay, so these texts aren't necessarily texts you would want to send to your sphere of influence, not necessarily texts you want to send to your past clients, unless they're like 4 or 5 years back, not necessarily texts that you want to even send to leads that are within 60 days of buying or selling a property that you've properly managed in your CRM. Okay, I gotta probably put an asterisk there and distinct. If you've done a poor job at managing your database and your pipelines aren't properly set up, you're really probably not even going to know if leads are ready to go within 60 days. But it's very inauthentic, right? To send a message to somebody that you already know is going to buy and going to buy relatively soon, or going to sell relatively soon. So don't send this message to people that are really close inside of your pipeline and have already been in conversation with you about buying or selling. And then obviously don't send this to vendors. I've seen this mistake where somebody will send out a mass text, but they'll have like their mortgage lender or their title rep or something, or their contractors inside of the text, the list. And so just make sure you're not sending it to your business vendors because it's a waste of money. So who you do want to send this text to, newer leads, even if you've they just came into your database and they're like a week old, right? That's fine. Newer leads is fine. Leads that are 60 plus days out from buying, because that's not a guarantee that they're going to do business with you. Absolutely. Aged leads, so leads that have been in your database for a long time, maybe they're cold, they're stale, you haven't had a conversation with them in 6 months, leads that are 2 years old. Like, this is a great way to wake up a database, is to send out a mass message, and you get a lot of you really get a lot of like understanding of how engaged the database you have really is. What I find is that most people are doing a good job of lead generating, but surprise, surprise, they're not doing a very good job of nurturing. Maybe they're even following up, but they're not adding value to the database, which is something you're going to have to consistently do if you want to be able to go to your database every single month and pull out a ton of appointments. Social channels. Now, I know that's not a text, but like I said, if you take the text and you just format it as a social post, what happens is you get people in the comment section that are interacting with you. And that again has the same effect. If somebody comments, I'll sell my house for $560,000, like the post or like the comment, shoot them a friend request, shoot them a direct message, have a conversation, right? There's there's no reason that you wouldn't want to do something like that. So I like to reorient these texts as social posts as well, because it normally provokes people that are following you really closely to go ahead and comment different things as well. So those are kind of the who's and the who nots. Now, the last thing is how you should send the text. Now, I see we've got some questions coming into the Zoom chat, and I would love to answer some of those questions. Please ask continuously as you have them. I'm going to come back and do some Q&A here in a minute. But then there's the how you should send this. So there's really three ways. There's really two ways. There's either your CRM, so Follow Up Boss, Wise Agent, Go High Level, the Mayshore method, Chime, Sync, like whatever CRM it is that you use. This is the preferred method because you're able to keep all of the notes, responses, interactions right there inside of your database, and they're attached to the contact card. That's really important because it keeps the dialogue right there, easily accessed, so everybody on your team can stay aligned to the communication. So this is the preferred method, using your existing CRM. Now, some CRMs, like Follow Up Boss as an example, doesn't allow for mass texting, where a platform like Wise Agent does. But the point is, some don't. And so you have to move to a third-party platform. Now, if you just Google mass text software tools, you're going to find a number of different tools. What I highly recommend is that you pick a tool that integrates with your CRM. Because if you do not, it really kind of like disjoints everything and makes it so that you've got some communication in one platform, some communication in another platform, and there's no real like cohesive way to see what the communication has been with that one specific contact. So using a platform that integrates with your CRM is the preferred method of doing this. And then lastly, it's just our recommendation. So we use a tool called Textedly. Follow Up Boss is the #1 CRM platform that we integrate with, that also is preferred to our users. So we work with more people at Follow Up Boss than we work with any other platform. So that's why I'm referencing it. Textedly is the name of the platform, and it actually integrates natively directly to Follow Up Boss. So whenever you integrate, you can create an account, select a local phone number. Do not use a toll-free number. Select a local number. If you have to buy it, that's fine. And then you integrate it where the specific stages or lists map over, so you can select which contacts you actually want to send the mass text to. And then after you send the mass text, you're communicating with those people in Textedly, but all of the notes transfer over into Follow Up Boss. Makes it really easy to keep in contact with everybody. So those are recommendations on how you should send out the text. It's not a super complex process. Every CRM is different. Every third-party platform is somewhat different. So you have to pick, go see if your CRM allows it. If not, go pick the third-party platform that would be best for you. But these are just some of the recommendations for how to send this. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was the 5 texts that you could send, or the 5 texts that you could send to get buyers and sellers ready to meet with you this week. If you send out, I'm going to go over something. I want to make a point here, just a second. That's what I want to cover. Second thing, who to send it to, who not to send it to. Third, how to send it. Here's a point I'd like to make. I have found that over the last couple of years, as I've been perfecting a system for generating consistent appointments in somebody's business, that there are 5 things. And if you do these 5 things, you're basically got a 100% chance you're going to generate appointments in your business, or a 93.3% chance, as I've uncovered, right? And it's 100% as of yesterday, because we finally get an appointment in these visits. But the 5 things are actually very simple. You need to be generating leads, so you actually have people to text. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? Second thing, you need to be doing remarketing. Now, remarketing, if you're in my world, obviously I talk about it nonstop, so you kind of have an idea. But for those that don't know, remarketing is very simply marketing to somebody over and over and over again. The #1 way to remarket leads is with branded video content of you that either helps you build a relationship with them, helps you demonstrate your expertise by educating them, or helps validate the type of experience that they could have with you through testimonials. So personality content, educational content, testimonial content. So you want to remarket them. Third thing, consistent follow-up. It is not an option anymore to just call a lead or to just text a lead. You've got to get this, because this is what most people do, right? You've got to consistently follow up with leads. And if you're not using automation to do it, you are doing yourself a massive disservice. Calls could be automated. Text could be automated. Emails could be automated. And I highly recommend that you utilize the tools within your CRM. If you're not using a service like Whitley Lead Assist or something like that to do the follow-up for you, I highly recommend that you program these automations. I may do another training next week on our lead follow-up playbook, if that would be valuable. We have a 26-page document. It's all the calls, all the texts, all the emails that you should have in place, all automation, so that you can be following up with leads at scale. You can generate 100 leads today and you can follow up with all of them. So I have that, would love to maybe talk through doing that, but you got to do consistent follow-up. The fourth thing is a weekly or bi-weekly email that is just value to your database, okay? A weekly or bi-weekly email that has nothing to sell, has no like, let's go look at houses, you know, kind of tone. It isn't a market update. It is just valuable content. Now, the most effective thing that I see people do, or because I recommend it, is community content. Okay, if you can be sending community content like restaurant reviews, business highlights, video event updates, like events that might be happening in your local area, you know, if you could be sending community type value to your database, this is a really simple thing that can have an incredible effect on the relationship that you're developing with your database. You know, I work often with a guy named John Cheplack. He's a personal coach of mine. He is the keynote speaker at an upcoming event that we're hosting. And as he always says, you want to be making relational deposit. You want to be making deposits in the relationship equity account, right? If I don't ever add value to you, if you're watching this, and I just ask, all I ever do is ask you to buy stuff from me, we're not probably gonna have a relationship for a long period of time because I'm not really doing anything to build a relationship with you. And so same point to you, if you're only ever just asking your audience for stuff, asking them to take actions, asking them to go see homes, asking them, right? You're likely not going to have as much of an effect relationally as you would like to. And your business is a relationship-based business, so that you really don't have a choice. But if you could create a piece of community content, whether it's a video, it's written, it's an image about an event coming up, whatever it might look like, and just send a weekly or bi-weekly email that is just valuable to your database, that is what I'm finding right now, enough. So you've got leads coming in, you have the remarketing in place, which is the video content that's following your leads everywhere they go on the internet, so you can build a relationship with them. You have the follow-up, you have the weekly, bi-weekly email, and then the fifth thing is this mass text strategy. If you're mass texting sections of your database with some of the messaging that I've shown you, what I've had is a 93.3% success rate at generating consistent listing appointments in people's businesses. So I know it's very effective. I've been working on really optimizing this for the last couple of years, but the last year it has become just like dialed. We've had clients again that I've worked with for some time, and for no reason really, not a lot of appointments coming throughout the month, slow a couple months. We come in and we start sending the mass text, boom. It's like we're finally making the call to action that somebody needs. We're doing it in a format where we have an average, I think, 93% open rate on text. And it is so effective. Jacob, thanks for the comment, man. Hope you have a good one. I'll get the email, reach out to you about automating your follow-ups. Definitely something you should be doing. But sending out the mass text, unbelievably effective. This is what I call my perfect database marketing plan. And like I said, we've been implementing it for a couple of years extremely effectively. So when you send out this mass text, I want to make sure you're not just you've been generating leads, you've never followed up with them and sending out the text, that you're probably like, it's probably going to decrease the effectiveness of what it is that we're trying to do. But if you're consistently generating leads, you're consistently creating content, you're consistently following up, you're consistently nurturing, and then you send the mass text, it's like you're finally making that call to action, and you're going to get people to jump off the fence, that you're going to grab that low-hanging fruit. We've seen people get their appointment rates. I've seen people that we've been managing get their appointment rates all the way up into the 10th percentile by utilizing this mass text strategy as a complement to what it is that they're doing on top of some of the other things. So I'm going to open it up now for questions. I would love, if you have any questions, throw them over into the Zoom chat. If you're watching via Facebook Live, I really just wanted to go live so that way you didn't miss the content, but I'm only going to be answering questions with people that are in our Zoom room for the moment. I'll come back into the comment section, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, and answer some questions we can. So one of the questions we have is, can you run through the text really quick again? I got 1, 2, 5. I had an interruption during 3 or 4. No problem. Give me just a second. Let's go back to text. So we got text number 1. I'm sorry, text number 1 is, hey, are you still looking to buy or sell a home? Text number 2, hey, first name, I think I found a deal for you in the blank price range. Do you have a few minutes for a quick chat? Text number 3, hey, first name, I've got somebody looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in the blank price range in the blank area. Would you be interested in selling your home? That's text number 3. Text number 4, would you sell your home right now if I could find you a new home to purchase? And then lastly, text number 5, fill in the blank. If you could get blank for your home, how much would you sell it for today? Hopefully that helps you all. And what I will also do, if I can find it, is I will copy these text messages right over into the Zoom chat. So if you're on Zoom, good for you. There you go. I just copied all of the text into the Zoom chat, but I sent them directly to one person. So I'm going to resend this to everybody else. Okay, there you go. So that answers your question. Thank you for asking it. I really appreciate it. Can you share the sheet with all of the email, text, automated follow-up that you mentioned? I'll work with my team to see if we can't do that. What I may do is I may do another training next week and go through our lead follow-up playbook. And I know I can do it then, but I will absolutely ask the team if we can get that easily prepared for you. That was Jacob's question as well. My apologies, but I missed number 5. Jason, I posted in the chat, so it's there. It's fill in the blank. If you could get blank for your home, how much would you sell it for today? You're welcome, Julie. Welcome, Stephanie. Brian, with regards to value content, do you find any kind of fatigue or fall off in those 3 suggestions? If there's just rotated, one restaurant review highlight, one local business highlight, one local event, and just rotates these each week, or is there a better response in sending any of those? Honestly, Brian, it's a really good question. Is, if you just talk about the same thing over and over again, but the reality is the same thing would be like interviewing the same restaurant over and over and over again. If you know your client, if you know your ideal client, you know what they like, you know what they don't like, right? So you know that if you know that they like nice steakhouses, as an example, and you go to 5 different steakhouses, well, it's the same type of content, but it's different restaurants. And so I don't know that you're going to get a lot of the fatigue that you think that you might, but I think that if you're thinking in that vein of just creating different pieces of content, I don't think you're going to see much fatigue at all, because it's just consistent value around specific topics. I hope that answers your question, but I don't think you're going to see some of the fatigue that you may be talking about. Thank you. Do you ever text FSBOs? So Stephanie, that's a really good question. Do you ever text FSBOs? There are a lot of text laws federally that have come out. I don't recommend texting people that did not opt in for you to text them. There is a regulatory standard, I think it's TCPA is the specific acronym. And if your contact is not TCPA compliant, you can actually receive a really hefty fine for texting somebody that you did not have permission to text. And this is why I talk about lead generation. If you're generating leads, you're paying for leads, somebody's opting into something you offer, they are willingly saying you can reach out and communicate with me. And then they also have the option to unsubscribe. So I don't recommend cold texting FSBOs or anything like that, because it's certainly a compliance issue that I don't want you to get sued. So certainly would not recommend that. Thank you, Grant. You're very welcome. Sorry, I meant your top 5 things we should be working on. Yes, Jason. 1, generating leads. 2, remarketing those leads with video content about yourself. 3, doing consistent follow-up via call, text, email. And I think most of that should be automated. 4, a weekly, bi-weekly email is very effective. That is just a value piece of content that you're emailing to your database. And then 5, send out the mass text. Hopefully that answers your question. And then, yeah, for sure. Thanks, Brian. Hey, thank you guys so much for being on here today. I didn't want this to be a super long training, but you guys have been so engaging and so much fun to interact with. I hope you got a ton of value from this. I would love to see you guys go take this and apply it. You know, take the mass text, find your favorites and go send them out. Because I know, again, if you're doing one of the 5 things that I mentioned, you're going to get interactions. Now, what you may learn is that you're not that good at text follow-up. I don't know. Let's say you get a ton of responses and you don't land an appointment. All of that should teach you is that you have more to learn. And I would love to help, not coach you per se, but just continually guide you through the process of text-based communication so that translates to more appointments. We're doing this so effectively for the last couple of years. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please do not hesitate to ask. If you're watching this video on Zoom, obviously as we're recording it live, I love and appreciate you being here. You've been great asking questions. If you're watching it on Facebook Live, ask questions in the comments, I'll jump in. If you're watching on YouTube, ask questions in the comments, I'll jump in. As always, you can also reach out to me, Facebook Messenger, Instagram DM. I answer all of my personal messages. If I can help you in any way, shape, or form, please do not hesitate to reach out, connect with me, and ask questions. Would love to add as much value to you as I possibly can, and appreciate you all for jumping in here and being a part of this Whitley Wednesday training that I got to jump in and do today. So hope you all have an amazing day. Thanks again for coming. You've been awesome. We will see you later. Peace.